Hello and welcome to Leveraging AI, the podcast that shares practical, ethical ways to leverage AI to improve efficiency, grow your business, and advance your career. This is Isar Metis, your host. And as you know, I'm highly bullish on AI as a business lever and as a way to dramatically grow efficiency within your business. I'm also highly active on LinkedIn. And because of these two facts, I run into people who share interesting AI tips on LinkedIn. And our guest today, Isabella Bedoya, who is also known as Izzy, shares amazingly valuable practical AI use cases on LinkedIn. And I'm really excited that she actually agreed to come as a guest of our show today and share some of the ways she's using and she's teaching other people to use AI in order to drive efficiency. She's also the founder and CEO of marketingpros.ai. So today's examples are going to be mostly around marketing, but it's going to be an amazingly detailed, jam-packed, step-by-step instructions on how to run a full marketing campaign, creation to actual content generation using ChatGPT. I think if you're in the area of marketing, or even if you're a senior leader somewhere and you want to learn how can this dramatically change processes in your business, you'll find this absolutely fascinating. I'm sure you will want to take notes. We will share this also on YouTube. So if people want to watch the screen, because we are sharing a screen, we'll be able to watch that as well. But I promise you, we will go very clear and deep in reading everything that we're doing so you can still understand it and get a lot of benefit by just listening. This is going to be an amazing ride with a lot of content, and hence I'm really excited to welcome Izzy to the show.
In the next few years, AI technology will change our world dramatically. Whether you are a business executive trying to catapult your business forward, or just somebody who refuses to be left behind and want to advance your career, this is the show for you. I'm your host, Isar Metis, a serial entrepreneur and an AI enthusiast. You'll hear invaluable practical tips from innovative business leaders, AI practitioners, and some of the brightest AI minds in our world today on how you can leverage AI in ethical ways to advance your career and grow your business.
Izzy, welcome to Leveraging AI.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and I can't wait to get started.
So let's really dive right in. What is the use case that you want to share with us today? And then we can go through it step by step and break it down so people can literally copy it and do it in their businesses as early as later today.
Sure. So I'm going to walk you through two components. I'm going to walk you first through how to actually create your marketing strategy with ChatGPT. And after that, I'm going to show you how to actually bulk upload or bulk create on Canva so you can create content a lot faster, especially if you're doing like LinkedIn carousels or Instagram carousels and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Okay, let's dive in.
All right. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a prompt. This prompt pretty much says, act as
So
a
just
social
again,
media
just to
strategist.
phrase this to everybody who's not seeing, we're going to use ChatGPT for probably most of what we're doing on the show. So if you don't have ChatGPT yet, go get access to ChatGPT. But you can do similar things with other AI large language models like Bard, and I'm trying to think of other ones that I've used, but these two for sure. First thing, first prompt, what are you going to prompt it with?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. First prompt, basically what we're going to ask it is for audience persona. So I wrote the prompt like this: act as a social media strategist. And just to give a little explanation, you always want to give it a role when you're creating a prompt. So that'll help you get the best accurate response. So I said, act as a social media strategist. We're going to create a 30-day social media marketing strategy for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can choose which platform you're going to use. If you just want to use LinkedIn, that's fine. And then first, we will create an audience persona, including pain points, desires, buying behaviors, social media platforms that they spend the most time on, and what type of content they find the most helpful and useful. Oh, and what books they would like to read about this subject. Do not hallucinate, be accurate. That pretty much AI hallucinations, for anyone that doesn't know this. It's pretty much when AI just starts, or ChatGPT just starts coming up with like all this fictional stuff. It's called an AI hallucination. So if you want it to stay factual, you gotta prompt it to not hallucinate. And then for context, let's just say that this is the example, right? For context, my target audience is people in leadership positions like head of marketing, head of sales, and helping them understand how AI can create efficiencies for you.
I want to pause you just for 1 second because something that I do a lot with my clients and myself as well. When I go in, I sometimes use ChatGPT to help craft that context aspect. And then what I do, I save that. I use a tool called Magical, which is like a Chrome extension that gives you shortcuts for things that you use a lot. And then I have all the context stuff that I need for different prompts that I use regularly, just as a shortcut in Chrome that I can drop in. So I can have really long context of things when I use them regularly in chats. That's just a time saver if you do these kind of things regularly.
That's amazing. Yeah, so that's basically the first prompt. What ChatGPT comes back with is the audience persona, which gives you a little bit of the demographics. So it creates a name, it gives you the role, head of marketing, age, 35 to 45, location US. So those are more demographics. The reason why I prompted for pain points and desires, though, is because in marketing, this is one of the things that you learn from the very beginning is that people make buying decisions based off of their emotions and then try to like justify it with logic. So we want to go for like the emotional triggers. What are they actually trying to like run away from, which is the pain points, and what are they trying to get more of, which is the desires. Isar, based on this, does that sound pretty accurate to you so far?
Yeah. So
Let
to
me
read a few that
zoom
I
in.
wrote as pain points, it says overwhelmed by the increasing demand of managing marketing team, struggling to keep up with the latest marketing trends and technologies, difficulty achieving, measuring marketing ROI. So really good pain points that are really probably the ones that are the most common for people who manage marketing. And then
Hmm.
in desires, it wrote to optimize marketing strategies and improve efficiency, to stay updated with the latest. So the flip side of what he wrote,
That's
of
exactly
what
the
he
flip
wrote
side.
as pain points. But yeah, pretty
Exactly.
accurate, I think.
Awesome. And then we get into buying behaviors. So buying behaviors is basically the type of behaviors that they take before they make a buying decision. So this is really good for us to know. And it's also, even if you know this, let's pretend that you know all of this information like the back of your hand. It's always good to still start your marketing thread with audience persona because you're pretty much putting ChatGPT on the same page as you, right? Where you might have all this knowledge about them, but now that you brought it to the forefront, ChatGPT is aware of who we're creating for in the next few prompts.
I agree. And something that, again, you can do if this is still too generic, and in 90% of the cases, the first prompt and the first answer you're going to get are pretty generic. You can keep drilling deeper, saying, okay, this is great start, but my persona is also this and that. And hence, the first 3 points you wrote are less relevant, but in the other 2 points, I would like to drill deeper. So you can do this step several times until you get to something that is more accurate and more relevant to your very specific niche and target audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Buying behaviors, it's talking about conducts thorough research before investing in new technologies or services, relies on recommendations from trusted sources, seeks case studies and success stories. So basically from this, you can understand that testimonials, referrals, that's going to be very big in your marketing strategy. So that's something for you to consider that you should start, if you haven't already, start collecting a lot of those, creating case studies and stuff like that. For the
Yep.
social media platforms, it tells you what they use each platform for. And also, just from reading this, it sounds pretty accurate, right? Like people in leadership positions, they'll use Instagram more for prime personal interest, right? For inspiration, stuff like that. Whereas if we jump ahead to LinkedIn, they're using that for like professional networking, industry news, business related content. So that alone, like, it lets you understand, okay, if I am going to be on this platform, I should probably show up in this manner. It also gives you an insight like, okay, if this avatar is on LinkedIn and they're into industry news, you should probably integrate industry news as part of your strategy. So it's all getting to know your avatar a little bit better. When we scroll down a little bit more, we'll get to preferred content types. And preferred content types, for example, we have in-depth articles and blog posts that provide valuable insights and practical tips. So again, this is like more types of content that you can be creating and sharing. If you're on LinkedIn, this could be your LinkedIn newsletter. Another type of preferred content is case studies showcasing the successful implementation of AI in marketing, infographics and visuals summarizing complex AI concepts in digestible format, video interviews with experts discussing the benefits and challenges of AI in marketing, and webinars. Webinars are huge, and live Q&A sessions. So these are just like preferred content types that you could be creating. And then lastly, we have the books of interest. So sometimes it'll be like fictional with the books. You just have to do your due diligence here. Even though we prompted it for like not to hallucinate, sometimes it'll just still create a random book, and then you can just prompt it again and say, hey, I want real books, real factual information. But anyways, in any case, even if these are real or fake, the titles are interesting. And it gives you more ideas to create similar content. For example, the first title, it says the AI marketing playbook, strategies for driving growth and efficiency. Second one says marketing AI revolution, how artificial intelligence transforming marketing. Data-driven marketing with AI, leveraging data and AI to improve marketing performance. And then there's the future marketer, embracing AI and automation for marketing success. I don't know if these are real, so most likely you'll just have to prompt it one more time and ask it for like real books.
So
So
to pause it just for 1 second, as a category, when you're brainstorming with any of these large language models, there are two types of things you're asking for. Either, let's call it inspiration or brainstorming, which then there's no problem, right? You're going back and forth, throwing ideas, diving deeper, defining personas, no problem. You can do that and it's fine. When you get to the factual side of things, give me the revenue of this and that company in the last quarter of 2022. It may make stuff up. If you're asking it for names of books, it may make stuff up. So anything factual, you have to go and actually fact check before you make decisions on it. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it doesn't. And the scariest thing is it will give you 7 great right things. So you come to trust that it's perfectly fine. And then the next 3 are going to be completely made up, and you're going to look like an idiot if you go by that. So you're literally, whenever you're asking for facts, you have to go and fact check them before you move on to the following steps.
yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. The next step here is, after we have the audience persona, which is everything we just discussed, the next prompt is, based on this audience persona, what is the best marketing funnel to generate more leads for my consulting business? So it's going to create the marketing funnel that would be a little bit more effective into attracting more leads similar to this audience persona we just created. ChatGPT made a fictional name, called it Mark Simmons, head of marketing. So basically, in the answer that we're getting now, it's creating based on 5 stages. We have awareness stage, consideration stage, decision stage, conversion stage, and advocacy stage. And under each stage, it's giving us ideas of what we could be doing, like social media ads, for example, content marketing, like blog posts, articles, videos, stuff like that. That's under awareness stage. Under consideration stage, you have lead magnets and webinars, right? So like lead magnets can be ebooks, checklists, white paper, case studies, etc. And webinars, we all know webinars are like workshops or whatever the case is. Then we have decision stage. Decision stage is more actually getting on calls with people, sharing testimonials, case studies, and stuff like that. Conversion stage is really more, okay, now we're actually getting into the proposal side of things. Having a proper follow-up and nurture campaign is going to be important. And ChatGPT can help you do all of this. Like, it can help you craft your entire follow-up and nurture sequence as well. And then lastly, it's the advocacy stage, right? This is going to get more into the super fans of your business, that people end up becoming affiliates, and the strong sources for word of mouth. So that's essentially what it suggests based on this avatar that we should be considering.
And I want to pause you for
before I go
1
into the next
second.
prompt, do you have questions?
Yeah, I want to pause you for 1 second again, just to
Yeah.
add a little trick that relates to what I said earlier about fixing stuff along the way. In every one of those steps, obviously, you can come and change it and give it more direction. Say, well, in our industry, webinars are not a thing, and we don't do these kind of things, so we need something else, or come up with a new idea, or we don't have the resources to do this and that, or we don't have a website, so we don't have blogs. Like whatever the case may be, you can give it specific instructions. There's a little trick that most people don't know, which is, if you continue the conversation with ChatGPT, it remembers every step of the conversation. Meaning, if I want to fix something in a specific stage of the process and not just keep on querying, it will also remember the very first time we talked about it and all the stuff we wrote over there. The flip side, at the top of each and every one of your prompts, there's a little pencil icon on the top right corner that you can click and you can edit a specific prompt. So if the answer it gave you is not going to be aligned with the way you want to continue, the right way to actually continue is click on that little icon and change that particular prompt, because then it will forget the thing it answered that you were not happy with. And then once you save and run it again, it will continue with the fresh data that you gave it. So the best way to curve the right path, if you want for ChatGPT to go, if you want the future next steps, and here what Easy is doing, which is amazing, is really building this strategy one layer above the previous layer. So if the previous layer wasn't accurate, the right way to get the accurate layer is actually to edit the prompt versus to write a few more prompts, because the next layer will still remember all the prompts that were there before.
This is such a valuable tip, because also along with that, once you edit this, and let's say we change this prompt completely, the arrows will appear. So you'll still have all your work will be auto saved, but you'll have the arrows, so you'll be able to like toggle back and forth into separate threads.
Yeah. So basically what Easy is saying, it remembers the history. Those arrows allow you to go back and forth between different versions of each prompt in the entire chain of communication, in the entire chat that you had. So you don't lose anything by changing the prompts, which is also a very important tip.
Absolutely. And also one quick thing, when you were saying about how you can train it to say, "Oh, we don't do webinars," or "We don't do this instead." If you're trying to be a little bit more unique too, you could also prompt it to do less common marketing strategies, for example, and it'll give you something like more unique stuff that not a lot of people are doing.
Correct. And especially if you're in Bard, or if you have the ChatGPT web browsing, which now everybody has,
Yeah.
everybody who's paying has, then you can give it examples. You're like, I want to do stuff like this that I see successful people in my niche doing, or people in other niches that I want to copy into my niche that nobody's doing. You can actually give it links. I want to do stuff like this. Can you give me examples of what I can do for my industry or for my kind of clients, and so on? So you can be very creative on how you craft the direction you want to send it into.
Yes, absolutely. And with that being said, the first direction that we send it into for this next prompt is we're going to take it all the way from the top. And if you remember in the awareness stage, it talks about social media ads and content marketing. So my prompt is pretty much going to say, starting with the awareness stage, let's create a 7-day content strategy. And then it says the platform is going to be LinkedIn, content strategy is going to be copy and pasted what I created for my awareness stage. So in this case, I literally just copied and pasted the first section of the last answer that it gave me, which is awareness stage, social media ads, a little blurb around social media ads, content marketing, and the little blurb that I provide around that. And what this does is now it's going to, based on everything that we just discussed, audience persona, we're talking about audience persona, we're talking about content strategy and awareness stage and stuff like that. It's going to create a 7-day plan. So the first one, for example, is LinkedIn post introducing the concept of AI in marketing and potential benefits for business. It even gives you like ideas. It says use eye-catching visuals and concise copy to spark curiosity. And then it gives you another idea saying you can boost the post with targeted advertising to reach professionals in leadership positions, specifically head of marketing and sales. So it's giving you not the prompt, but not just the answer, but it's also giving you, or it's not even the answer yet, it's still the idea of what you should be doing. And then it's giving you an action step to go with it. For example, day 2, it says write a blog post titled Unlocking Marketing Efficiency with AI, the Future of Business Growth. And then from there, it says provide an overview of how AI can streamline marketing processes, improve targeting, and enhance ROI. Include practical examples and statistics to support your points. So just like skip ahead, it'll give you a few more. It'll say day 3, it's an infographic. Day 4 is going to be a short video. And day 5, the news article. If you remember that industry news, right? In the avatar, it said they like industry news. And then just skipping ahead, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to, now that we have an idea of what each day should be about, we're actually going to create the post for the first day. So
Oh,
before I go to the next section, any other tips you'd like to add, Isar?
Yeah, I think no takes. I think it's amazing to see that stuff that used to take us a couple of weeks with a marketing team of going back and forth can literally take minutes or hours for one person. And what we're showing now, again, is pretty generic because we didn't give it any industry specific, company specific background or information or links and so on. But if you do it with giving it company data, giving it background, giving it more information, giving it examples, you will get an amazing plan that you can actually execute on that's going to be really good. And based on all the information you gave it, including all the steps and including the next step, like Easy's saying, of let's actually generate the content. So let's go to that step.
Awesome. Yeah, and to add to that, what I've done in the past too is I'll analyze this website copy and I'll just copy their entire funnels, landing page, and stuff like that, and it'll give me so much more accurate marketing plans.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so creating the actual post. So for example, it says create the post for day 1. And then I just copied and paste day 1 from the previous answer that it gave me. It says day 1, create an attention-grabbing LinkedIn post introducing the concept of AI in marketing and its potential benefits for business. Use eye-catching visuals and concise copy to spark curiosity. Then it talks about boosting the post. So basically, what it first did, it gave me the copy, and this looks more of a kind of like a caption. So it basically says it's a bunch of emojis, right? There's a rocket ship emoji. It says exciting news alert, AI, the game changer for marketing efficiency, the robot emoji, right? They made it very emoji driven because the instructions said eye-catching visuals.
Yeah.
So then it says, are you ready to take your marketing strategies to the next level? Introducing the power of artificial intelligence in marketing. Now, just to pause it right there, the first mistake that I see a lot of people make is that just because ChatGPT created this awesome caption, they copy and paste it and they call it a day and then they move on with their lives. But if you're a reader and you're reading something like this, it sounds a little too robotic, right? It sounds a little too formal, too proper, and even a little bit more like even a little salesy, even though you're not really selling anything here. So what you always should do is take this as a brainstorming session. This is like amazing content that you can walk away with. But you always want to humanize it. You always want to edit the content that you're seeing. You want to add your own experiences, your own storytelling, your own emotional connections. Because then ChatGPT will help you like 80% of the way or 90% of the way. And then it's up to you to do those finishing touches that will really turn your content into like unique content that resonates with your audience.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that quick note.
I'll add something to that as well that makes a huge difference. And again, requires some pre-work, but it makes a huge difference in the outcome and in how much editing you actually have to do. So what I do, and again, I teach people to do this, the same thing, is I went to ChatGPT and said, I'm going to teach you about me. And it's like a whole chat. It's like a very long chat where I'm saying, listen, I'm going to tell you who I am. I'm going to tell you how I write. I'm going to tell you how I want to come across and how I actually come across. I'm going to give you examples of posts that I've posted. And then I tell it literally everything about myself, about my personal life, about my professional life, about the way I write, about the way I treat people, about the way I write posts. Here are a few examples, why I like them. I literally go through a very long chat with ChatGPT. And then I said, based on all of this, write a prompt that will tell another AI language how to write like me and how to represent me in a better way. And then it writes what the prompt should be. And again, it's pretty long. It's like a page and a half long of instructions of how to write like Isar Metis. And I say, name it Isar Business. And I have one for my personal life as well. So I have Isar Business and I have Isar Personal, where I train ChatGPT on how to speak the way I speak and how to write the way I write, based on everything I represent and examples of how I actually wrote different things. And now when I get to this stage of writing the thing, again, I save all of those to Magical, which is this thing that saves it within Chrome. So I don't have to go and look for a Google Doc and which doc did I save it as and going. It's literally right there in Chrome. And literally all I have to type is Isar Business without any spaces. So it knows this is the shortcut and it puts in this whole very long prompt that ChatGPT actually made up for me. So when I go to these stages of generating content, I say, and I want you to write like Isar Business, which is, and then I put in the actual very long prompt that I have ready. So what you get is not the generic robotic stuff. You get stuff that really, the more you invested in teaching it how to write like you, the better and more personalized the outcome is going to be, which is awesome, because then you have, and I agree with you, let's say did 80% of the work and now you got to fix 20%. I have 95% of the work, I got to fix 5%. So I invested a lot more upfront, but then the ongoing effort is significantly smaller.
Absolutely. That is like the best hack to write more human, especially more like you. That's I think with I recently found out about Get Magical through, I don't know if you follow Laura Barker on LinkedIn.
No.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you should, if you haven't, you should check her out. She has a lot of tricks like that, tips like that, like LinkedIn productivity and LinkedIn tips. And that, when she showed me that tool, I was just shocked at how your productivity just like skyrockets with all these little shortcuts.
Yeah. I've been using it way before AI was around. So I've been using it for 6 or 7 years now for multiple different things. It's really, its name suggests it's really magical. And, but the combination of that with remembering segments of prompts that you want to reuse again and again is a, an amazing boost to what you can do with AI.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a prompt.
Yeah.
So we basically initially created a persona. From that persona, we created a 7-day, we created desires and so on. From that, we created 7-day plan. From that, we ask it to generate the actual content for the first day. And obviously we can do that for all the rest of the days. What's the next stage?
The next step is we actually want to turn it into a 15-page LinkedIn carousel.
Ooh.
You can do less. You can do 5, 10, 20.
Yeah.
It really just depends on what topic you want to get across. It'll create the slides, and basically, I'm just going to skip ahead because the slides there, I want to actually turn it into a table.
So can you mention just what the prompt was to tell it to do that?
To get that, I just said, turn this into a 15-page LinkedIn carousel.
Oh, interesting. So it didn't even give it instructions or break it into slides, but to headlines like it
I
on its own.
didn't do that, and here's why. In the past, I've done this prompt like way too many times, and I've discovered that this one is better when you split it into two.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
what I discovered is that if I say turn this into a 15-page LinkedIn carousel in a table format using this and this, what I've discovered is that it's finicky. One day it'll work, the next day it'll give me something completely random, the next day it'll give me something I still have to keep prompting over and over again. So the best way that I found that's more consistent is just step 1, which is let's actually get the content written.
Yeah.
And step 2, which is, okay, like now that we have the content written, let's actually, I say turn, and this one is the one that works better. Turn this specific carousel. When I say turn it into a table, it'll just be like, it'll just go to slide 8 and we didn't. But if I say turn this specific carousel, it'll take the information from above and it'll actually use what I gave you before. So that is like when I do this like little trick, it is a little bit more accurate. And then
And
of
again,
course
the
this is
second
not
half
gonna
of
be
that
accurate if
prompt,
this isn't
the
accurate,
second
right?
half of
Like,
that prompt just gives it what you want the table to be, right? So you said slide, headline, caption. So then
yeah,
for each slide, it gives you the slide number, the headline, and the caption to use in the slide itself.
exactly. And of course, keeping in mind, like, this isn't gonna be accurate if this isn't accurate. This looks like there's some typos and some mistakes happening here. So you could edit and fix it, but here it already fixed it on its own. Like the numbers were off on the previous prompt. So yeah, so here is just turn this specific carousel into a table, slide, headline, and caption. And the reason why we want this table, we're gonna do the second part, which is going into and creating actually a Canva carousel. So what you do is you just start from the very top, you highlight all of this, and then you just, on my computer, I'm on a Mac, so I just do Command C. I
So you
think on
basically
Windows it's
copy the
Control C.
table that ChatGPT created.
Yeah, so I'm basically just hitting copy, basically.
Yeah.
And then from there, I take it into a Google Sheets, and then here's your opportunity to edit this whole content piece. You want to put the headline at the top, the caption here at the top as well, the first row. And then,
And again, just to explain to everybody, all we did is we copied the table that ChatGPT created and pasted it into Google Sheets. So we have the same table on the top, on the headers. We got 3 columns. One is called slide number, the other one is called headline, and the third called caption. And in there, we have the data that ChatGPT created in the table that it has created on its own. So it's a simple copy paste. We didn't do anything to get it into Sheets other than just dropping it in there.
Exactly. Yep. And you want to make sure that row 1 has the actual headers, right? Slide, headline,
Okay.
caption. From there, you just go to File, Download, and download as a CSV.
Okay.
And you name your file, and then you open up Canva. Now on Canva, the first thing that you see when you log in, it says, "What will you design today?" And you can actually type in LinkedIn Carousel, and it'll give you a ton of templates. If you're creating an Instagram carousel, you can type in Instagram carousel, and it'll give you the Instagram carousel template, and it'll give you also a ton of templates. So even for like designers, this is something you can also not necessarily have to spend a lot of time looking for designers, because Canva has a ton of built-in templates.
Yeah.
So
and
for
within
this purpose,
Canva, you can save your own templates. You can teach it your brand guidelines and colors.
yeah, like in
So
Brand Hub, for example, I have my fonts, my brand colors, my logos, my frequently used images. I just save it in the logo folder so it's accessible. So you can do that with templates. I haven't personally tried to save it as a template, but I do have. What ends up happening is once I create one, I just constantly duplicate that
duplicate it.
document
Yeah.
and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick a template.
Yeah, so just for the purpose of this example, let's just go with LinkedIn Carousel. So when you pick your template, and there's a ton of templates, right? When you pick the template that you want to use, what you're going to do is you're going to write the word headline as the actual text that's like the larger text on the slide. And then you're going to write the caption, which is going to be the smaller text that you add into the slide, usually as a description and stuff like that.
So
So
you
what you
literally
do,
name them headline
yeah,
and caption.
yes. And then what
Okay.
you do is you right click, and you go to the left first on the left navigation bar. You go to where it says bulk create. It's an option. It's a new thing that Canva just released not too long ago. And in bulk create, you can actually hit the button that says upload CSV. And in upload CSV, I'll upload the document that we just downloaded from Google Sheets that we just saved as a CSV.
Yeah.
So what I'll do here is I'll go to headline on the actual slide. I'll click on the text that I just wrote saying headline, and I'll right click it and I'll put connect data, and it'll give me the option to connect headline. But this
So
is why
again,
it's
just to explain
important
to
that the
people who are
first
not seeing
row.
this, what it allows you to do is, because you've uploaded a CSV and it knows the headlines, the headings of the columns in the CSV, each and every one of them becomes a parameter.
Mhm.
So you can attach the headline in Canva to basically anything in that column, which means it will create as many of those as needed based on the data in the CSV.
Exactly. And you do the same for the caption part, right? You just go right click, connect data, and then caption. Now, you know that it connected because these brackets show up
So it makes these circular brackets around it, showing it's a parameter versus an actual text.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And here, if you want, you can go ahead and just edit on the corner, on the bottom corner, there's a place where you can put your handle and your name. And at the top right corner, you have a place where you can put your website. So this would be the place to edit this, because what you do, once you hit continue, it's going to then ask if you want to apply the data. And I say, yeah. And I'm going to generate 8 pages. I'm going to click the button that says generate 8 pages. So now it's loading, but now I'm going to have a draft of my carousel. And if I zoom out to look at all the slides, there's this button on the bottom right corner, like a grid. I click there to zoom out. So all that I have left to do is just reformat it.
Yeah.
The text is all in there, and we can just reformat it. And remember, this is already something that you've already gone through and edited the content when you were on the Google Sheets. So it really shouldn't be that much editing happening here. I'll just probably change the font sizes a little bit and just kind of.
And again, once you do this once and you create your own template and you got the length of stuff you're getting, because the only difference is how long is the text. So you need to make it bigger or smaller that it fits. And so once you have that figured out and you have the right text size figured out, then that stage even goes away, because at least 90% of the slides are going to be okay because you've already set the size of font in advance based on the stuff you're getting from ChatGPT. And by the way, you can tell ChatGPT when you create this, create headlines that are less than 7 words, create captions that are less than 12 words, and then that it's not going to go in most cases. Sometimes it will fluke, but in most cases, it will give you what you requested. And then even that step of reformatting goes away and it becomes even quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So all you have to do now in this stage is just when you're reformatting each slide by slide, then you just go to on the right navigation bar, you just hit where it says elements. On the left, left navigation bar, it says elements, and then you can just start typing in keywords like AI, marketing, anything that's related to the slide. And then you could just add your graphics into each page. And yeah, and then once you're done with that, this is also a commonly asked question. Once you're done with this whole thing and fixing it all, you just, at the top left corner, it says share. So you're going to share and you're going to click download. Make sure that the file type is PDF and all the pages are selected, and you click download. And when you go into LinkedIn, this is the part that a lot of people ask a lot of questions around. This is, how do you upload it as a carousel? Or
Yeah.
I don't even have the carousel feature yet. But the thing is that LinkedIn made it a little confusing. So when you go to start a post, when you go to actually upload a post, you start, if you scroll, so once you actually hit the button, like I'm gonna write a post, and then at the bottom it'll give you an arrow, and you can click on the arrow, and it's gonna take you to more methods of, or more types of content that you can post. So it'll show, for example, images, videos, polls, and then it'll say documents. This PDF file is a document, and this is considered a LinkedIn carousel.
Yeah.
So everybody has access to it. It's not based on region or anything, because for some reason there's a big misconception around that. But yeah, if you have the documents feature, which pretty much everyone has it, then you should be able to upload LinkedIn carousels.
Easy, this is amazing, by the way. This thing I haven't done before. I haven't played with the automation within Canva to load CSVs. It's mind-blowing. Like I'm gonna do a lot more of those moving forward. Really cool. Any other steps within that you wanted to cover in ChatGPT or in here?
The only other step that I would maybe consider is, sometimes if I add the last column images, sometimes it'll give me descriptions of the images that I could be looking for in Canva.
Awesome. So really great. I want to add one small thing because you brought up images, and then I want to generalize this to a lot more than just, okay, here's a marketing plan and the content. The very specific thing, when I create content, when we all create content, we need images. And historically, we had all these stock photo databases that we would go and search. And by the way, that's what Canva is doing, right? It's just connected to different stock photo images, and you can search it through Canva. But with today, with tools like DALL-E and Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, you can create the images you need. And what I do today, I literally stopped searching for images. And what I tell ChatGPT or Bard is I say, this is the caption I'm going to put in a blog post or in a social media post or on this and that platform. Write me a caption for a tool that generates images like DALL-E that will explain what should I put in the image that will be best describing or best associated with this thing that's in the caption. And then I will copy whatever it generates, paste it into Midjourney, and I will get an image. And 9 out of 10 times, one of the 4 images in Midjourney is going to be a home run to the thing that I need, way better than what I've found looking for something generic that should be related to what I wrote. So it's actually faster than searching through 100,000 images in a stock photo database, and you get stuff that is more relevant. So it actually wins on both sides of this equation. So that's the specific tip on how to generate graphics for these things. When it comes to making this a little more generic, what we've done is really magical. Right here in 30 minutes, we created something out of thin air that started with I don't even know the persona exactly, to here's the actual content I'm going to post on Sunday, and automating some of the generation process in 30 minutes. But you can take this into every aspect of your business. You can do the same exact process on planning your next product. So this is our product right now. Who's the target audience? How do we take it to that audience in the most impactful way? Who's potential new audience because of new things that are happening in the market? What do we need to add to our product? And build us a product deployment plan, and give us, and here's the team that we have. So what should we do in different steps? What infrastructure we need? Like literally, you can take the process that we just did, that Easy walked us through for marketing, and you can take this to every aspect of the business and really shorten the time. And should you involve your team in this? Yes, absolutely, because people need to be aligned and you want people's inputs. But you can share this data with the team, and you can use this as an incredible accelerator of the process. So versus doing everything with people who are going to go and research and put presentations together, all of this can happen in minutes. And then the whole process, instead of taking 3 weeks to a month, can take a day or a few hours. Easy, this was really incredible. It's incredibly valuable for people who hasn't done any stuff like this, to understand that you can take the process that you've done, quote unquote, in real life with a group of people over a very long time, and condense it, but still get really incredible results. I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us. If people want to follow you, join you, work with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun. If you want to follow me, the best platform to follow me right now is on LinkedIn. You can find me under Isabella Bedoya. Just started a YouTube channel. It's called Marketing Pros AI. And also, same thing, if you want free resources and stuff like that, you can just go to marketingpros.ai, and you'll have access to our databases and our Slack group and stuff like that.
Easy. Awesome. This was really great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.